What's up, everybody? It's been a little minute. I figured I was sitting down outside smoking a cigarette, trying to write some music. I was feeling a little creative, and I just couldn't get anything going in a flow that I wanted. But I still got that creative mindset, and I have been talking about doing this for a little minute. You know, uh, just thinking about it in my head and talking it over with my mom. Um, but tonight I kind of felt like it's the right time to start making videos again. And the main thing was I was sitting out there making music, just trying to convey the way I feel. And I guess I kind of got lost in just like all the emotions that I'm feeling right now. And I want to start off by saying all these videos that I'm about to make, if I continue to make videos after this, aren't for attention, for views, for money. I'm not doing this to try to get famous. My hope for these videos is more for myself and to help anybody else that may be going through the same situations that I have gone through, and also hopefully to help younger men that are growing up in a difficult time or whatever they may be going through, that it might encourage somebody else. I guess right now it's kind of difficult because I don't know exactly what I want to share, what I want to talk about. Um, I guess I'll talk a little bit about myself. My name is Ibrahim Jacob Awais. I've gone by Mala for a long time. As a nickname, as my artist name, as my street name, whatever you want to call it. Um, but I go by Jacob for the people who do know me and have grown up with me. And if you do know me, and you are close with me, you've known a lot of things that I've gone through and a lot of the things that I struggle with. And I've struggled a lot with my mental health. I've struggled a lot with self-harm. And the main thing that I struggle with is alcoholism and my addictions. Just being flat out honest and putting it all on the table. You know, I've gone through a lot in my life. I'm only 22 years old, but, you know, being 22 years old, trying to figure out how to be a man, who I am, and trying to figure that all out through addiction has been really tough. And I'm not saying that, you know, everything that I went through wasn't my own fault, because I take a responsibility in everything that I have done in all my actions. Actions have consequences no matter your addiction and what you're doing. And that's not to say that your addiction doesn't control a lot of your mind the way that it's wired. But at the end of the day, you have to come to terms with the things that you've done. But like I said, I have been through a lot, and I'm hoping that through these videos, the things that I've gone through and the things that I've experienced will help somebody else not make the same mistakes that I've been in. Because I've heard a lot of different things throughout my life. I've been in and out of AA since I was 18 years old. I went to my first rehab facility when I was 18 years old. Completely bullshitted it, just going through the motions, trying to make my way back home to the place that I was comfortable with in my addiction. I guess right now I'm kind of just trying to work through everything, because I am newly sober. I had gone to treatment over at Fellowship Hall, which is a place in Greensboro. Best thing that ever happened to me. I'm not going to get too much into it, but long story short, I ended up getting arrested, and from there, I went to Fellowship Hall to look good to the judge. And I had no intention of getting clean and sober, but after 2 weeks, my mind was clear. I was thinking clearly for the first time that I ever had in my life. And after that 2 weeks, everything that they were teaching us in the lectures throughout the day, going out to speaker meetings, hearing people talk, which, I mean, I've heard plenty of people talk. I've been to AA meetings that were court ordered. It's not like this is something that's new to me, but having my mind genuinely clear to think and clear to process is something that I never had before. So after those 2 weeks, I completely opened my mind and everything to what they were saying. And that was one of the best things that had ever happened to me. I ended up going through the whole program, which was 31 days. I got out and I made one of the worst decisions that I ever made, which was going back to Wilmington and back to no support, to no house, no license, no car. I was thrown in the deep end trying to fight my addiction on my own. I didn't go to any meetings. I didn't do anything that I was told to do because I believed that now that I was sober, I'm strong enough to do it. Which, as you can guess, didn't work out and led to a relapse. And, you know, I've relapsed plenty of times before, but this time was so much different because I've been drinking since I was 16 years old, every single day, non-stop, and it hasn't been fun for me since high school. I've been drinking to survive now. Once I got sober and, I got back to my normal life, I lasted about 2 weeks before I got kicked out of my Oxford house that I was living in. And after that, I kind of just spiraled. And the thing about when you relapse is that you don't start over again just because your tolerance went down and everything is what you feel like is you're back to normal, which you never get back to normal. But what you feel like is when you get back to normal is you start back right where you picked up. So I started drinking as much as I could get my hands on. I was going out to the bars. And I got caught up in that lifestyle again. And it really hit me this time because I had never experienced what life was like to be sober. And to have the experience that I had, to genuinely feel good in my own skin and to feel good about the decisions that I was making, I was hopeful, And once I lost that, it was, it made it that much worse. Not only had I disappointed my parents, I had disappointed my younger brother, I had disappointed myself. I had proven to myself that I can genuinely get sober and be okay. And I can have a good life and not just throw everything away, and not that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in a jail cell. So losing that all, threw me into an even worse spiral. I was drinking even more than I was. I was acting out even more than I usually do, just doing stupid stuff. I ended up calling my mom and after a 4-day bender, and I told her, I can't do this anymore. I need you to come pick me up. Because like I said, I don't have a license. I was couch hopping once I got kicked out of that Oxford house. I was struggling to find a way to work. That's the reality. That was my reality of things. That is where my addiction and my life and my choices had brought me. So after day 4, I knew I was either going to end up back in jail or I was going to end up dead. Because there's 3 things as addicts and people that struggle with substance abuse are promised: jails, institution, and death. I've crossed everything off except for death, and that's the last thing on my bingo list. I was blacked out for 3 days straight, and on that 4th day when I came to, I knew where it was leading to. Like, I was gonna die. That's my reality. And again, I want to say as much as I can, I'm not making these videos for people to pity me whatsoever. I have no place for people to feel bad for me in the decisions that I made and where it led my life. I'm able to live a new life today because I'm sober, and I understand that. And I am 22 years old. The world is a reach away from me. I can have everything that I want if I work hard and apply myself and put in the work that it takes to work the steps and to better myself. Because that's one thing that I learned is you continue to do the next right thing, good things are going to happen to you. One thing that I heard today in my meeting was whenever you start drinking, alcohol gives you wings, but nobody told me that the alcohol was going to take my sky away to fly in. So that's something that really hit me today, because it's like, yeah, in the moment you feel good, you feel amazing, and I feel like there's so much stigmatism, I think is the right word, or just so much surrounding alcohol nowadays with social media and just the social aspect of it. Everybody's drinking, everybody's partying, and everybody's having a good time, but so much of that is just fake and just, it's not reality, you know? I feel like everybody nowadays presents themselves as their best and puts out so much stuff that is just almost make-believe to make themselves look good. And I mean, I've lived my life to where, you know, I've always been the kid who's misbehaved. I've always been the misfit. I've never fit in where I felt like I never really belonged anywhere. I'm adopted, you know? I felt like growing up I didn't even fit into my own family. Of course they love me, but you know, as a young kid, you don't understand that. So I feel like with these videos, I'm not going to get too much into my whole story today, but for these videos of what I want to accomplish is just genuinely being 100% real with who I am and what I'm going through right now and what I have been through, because I know for a fact God didn't let me go through all that shit so that I couldn't be able to help people. In the midst of everything that was going on, I've cursed God, you know? I've run from Him, and I've run from my past. I've tried to cover up my past. I've tried to fake being okay. And now that I'm, you know, kind of towards the end of the tunnel, I see the light, and you know, I don't for a second regret anything that I went through at all. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't want any pity, because I feel like it's made me grow so much as a person. And being 22 years old, being in and out of jail, in and out of mental hospitals, in and out of rehabs, you know, I've heard a lot of things, and I've taken a lot of things in and put like just soaking it up like a sponge. And I feel like I'm finally at the point to where, you know, obviously I'm not ready to be a sponsor, nowhere close to it, but I just want to be real. Put out positive, real things that have happened, you know? Like, life's not all sunshine and rainbows. You're not just gonna wake up one day and have everything you fucking want. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I have no car, I have no license. I live with my parents again. Like, that's my reality. And I can get upset about that all I want. I can go drink about it if I really wanted to. Like, it really comes down to, I have a longboard right over there that I can take down to Sheetz and go get me a 12-pack if I really wanted to. And it'll feel better for a second. It might even feel better for a week while I'm in that bender. But at the end of the day, all that it's really doing is damaging me and who I am. And it destroys not only my body, but my reputation and everything that I've worked hard to achieve. Like, I've lost a lot. I've lost people's respect. I've lost friends. I've lost, you know, my freedom. There's so many things on that list that I can just name off that, you know, I don't have to right now, and I may share later on, but I don't know, something tonight, like, I've always talked about making videos like this because I really, really, really know that there's so many people out there that are genuinely fucking hurting and have nowhere to go, or they just feel like they're the only ones going through it, and you're not. And that's not to say that you're not special and unique, because everybody is special and unique, but we're all going through something that, you know, a lot of us don't want to talk about. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm trying to make these videos, is because one of my biggest problems that I've always had is not being able to convey the way that I feel, and not being able to communicate my feelings and just bottling stuff up. You know, obviously there's a lot of stuff that I can't say on camera, stories that I can't bring up, but on the things that I can, I'm 22 years old, like I said, but I've been through a lot. I've been through hell and back. You know, I watched an old video that I posted 2 years ago that is privated, and I was actually talking with my mom about this in the car. I made a video 2 years ago of me drinking high noons and hitting dabs, and you know, I kind of had the same mindset of I want my videos to be real, like genuinely showing who I was. But back then, I could genuinely see the pain and everything that I was going through, and just the way that I was talking. I could barely talk straight. I was slaying every word. To me, I needed to see that. I genuinely needed to see how sick I was and where my decisions had led me. Because throughout my whole life, from being 16 to 22, everything that I did was based on alcohol. Where's my next fix? That's where all my money went. Wherever there was a cheap drink, I would go to that bar. And now I just feel almost free. I'm on probation. I can't leave the state. But I feel like my chains around my neck and my arms have just been broken. I could have chose to not come home. I could have chose to go drink. I still can choose to do that. But I've tasted the freedom and the what it's like to be sober now, and I would not give it up for the world. Not only am I making, you know, people who care about me proud, and they see the work that I'm putting in, they genuinely notice a difference in the way that I talk. But that's also another thing, is it doesn't matter how well you get, because there's so much damage and so much chaos that because I'm not going to say everybody, but there's so much chaos that I've caused in my life with different people, that even if I do get a year, even if I do get 2 years sober, you know, to them, I'm always going to be that alcoholic. To them, I'm always going to be that fuck up. That's okay. Because, I mean, like I said, the choices that I made were my choices. There's nothing I can do to take them back. That's the reality of life. Like, I have a court date coming up on October 30th. I'm pretty nervous about what the outcome of that's going to be, but, you know, I hope when I'm standing in front of that judge, he sees that I went to treatment and I completed the program. And I had an ankle scrambler on, and I drank on that when I relapsed. And that's just another thing of how strong that addiction is. I literally had an ankle scrambler that read if I drink or not. And even with that on, I originally thought with that on is going to be a visual reminder of being back in jail. And that visual reminder still wasn't fucking strong enough. Something on my leg 24/7 that I can't take off in the shower. It's pretty bulky, everybody can see it. A thing that I used to do when I had it on was I played a little game to where I would see where people's eyes go. Where are they going to go to my face to look at my face tattoos, or are they going to look at the ankle monitor? Because I would always catch people like looking down or like looking up, and then once they catch me like see that I'm looking at them, they go, my fault, the camera turned off. But like I was saying, even with that on, I couldn't control myself and my actions. And it's just that powerlessness over alcohol that is insane, that so many people just don't understand. Right now, what I'm working on is trying to decipher what was my addiction and what choices were really mine in that whole time span. Because yes, my addiction ruled my life and made a lot of decisions for me, but at the same time, I'm still me and a manipulative person, I feel like. Or see, like that, like I don't know if it was genuinely me or my addiction that made me do those things. Right now, I guess I'm kind of just trying to work through that process of figuring stuff out like that, because with getting sober, you know, there's a whole lot of stuff you got to get used to. You know, you got to get used to having your feelings back. That it can be a blessing and a curse, you know. I'm feeling genuine happiness now, when I do things. And not just from getting a high, not just from drinking and getting a buzz, but like genuine happiness from stuff that I do and accomplish. I get angry a lot. I get triggered from a lot of things. There's certain things that people will say to me that make my brain click and be like, you know what, you're right. Maybe going to rehab didn't help because I relapsed. Maybe I didn't learn anything at all. Maybe I should just go drink. Because what's the point? I mean, right? I'm going to be an alcoholic for the rest of my life. So what's the point of drinking if I'm just going to go back out in a year and most likely, not make it back into the rooms? But if I have that mindset, I know I'm going to be set up for failure. I can't go into it like that. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. I guess if anybody's watching this video all the way through, let me know what you want me to talk about. Mental health, addiction, or just like stories like of stuff that I've been through. In no way am I ever going to glorify the use of drugs or alcohol, because the damage that it's caused to me and everybody in my life that genuinely cares about me is unprecedented. Like, I can't even describe the pain that I put my own mother through. Me and her were fixing our relationship. I'm fixing my relationship with everybody, because nobody knows the sober me. I barely know the sober me. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna stop yapping. If anybody's watching, let me know what you want down in the comments. I'm definitely gonna be making these videos because, just sitting down here for the little maybe hour I've been just yapping, I feel so much better. And I feel like I've gotten so much just off my mind, even if I was kind of all over the place. Whenever I'm editing it, hopefully I can put it together to where it makes sense. I appreciate everybody for watching and listening to me. Hopefully, it helps somebody out there. But keep your head up, stay positive.